Hello, hello, hello. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uh, in lecture today, I will discuss highway classification because in order to plan any urban mass transportation system, we must know how our highways are classified. And as a student of urban and architecture planning, you must understand the importance of various classification of the road in the system. And once you know that, then uh, with this knowledge, you will be uh, able to classify the road, and I will always to recommend any uh, transportation system you would like to have for a better growth of the town or a city. So let's see what what is the function of the road. The function of the road is to provide mobility, and in the technical term, it is known as arterials. Then to provide access means access to your workplace, to your home, to your location of desired, maybe a shopping area or an amusement park or maybe a religious place. So this is where usually you park your car as well, park your vehicle as well. So this is technically known as locals. And then there are collectors. Collectors, as the word suggests, it is a connection between arterial and locals. So in, in context of planning, both all of them are very important component and support each other. Why we need to know is to help which level of government has this responsibility. Obviously, the higher classification will have higher design parameters like speed, width, geometry, curve design. And then if you have a higher classification, then obviously the fund sources and the funded funds are different. And it's always the classification that determines, that helps getting in federal aid or in our scenario, international aid like ADB or Asian Development Bank. Asian Development Bank, or the World Bank. There are some other classification of the road other than with access and mobility. We call this as an all-weather road or fair-weather road. We can say where is a paved road or unpaved road, or in our local term, we call this as a kacha road, the unpaved road. Then, depending upon the pavement surface, whether it's a surface road or unsurfaced road, that's also a way of determining uh, or differentiating the highway. Another classification is based on the traffic volume, the heavy, medium, and light. Some say this is a class 1, class 2, class A, B, C, and simple. How much load carrying capacity means tons per axle is allowed per day. Usually 8 tons or 12 tons in our part of the world. Then we also call this based on some some authority like NHA, National Highway Authority, Provincial Highway, Major District Road, Orange, other district road, and the farm to market road, we what to call this is a rural road. Uh, we have another way of classification is primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary means motorway, expressways, and national highways. Secondary means provincial highways and major district road. And tertiary means other district roads or a rural road. So let's define what is a motorway. A controlled access highways provide an unhindered flow of traffic with no traffic signals, intersections, property access. They are free of any at-grade crossings with other roads, railways or pedestrian paths, which are instead carried by overpasses and underpasses. Entrance and exit to the highway are provided at interchanges by slip road ramps, allowing for speed changes between highway, arterial, and collector. On the controlled access highway, opposition directions are generally separated by a central reservation containing a traffic barrier or just a strip of grass. It can be elevated, it can be depressed, or it can be of any other form as well. Then there are expressways, high speed 120 kilometers per hour, having a land width of 90 meters, full access control, connects major points of traffic generation, no slow moving traffic, no loading, may or may not be allowed. Some people say expressway as um, a line or connecting two parts of the same city, while the motorways they connect two cities, or it's an intracity highway. Other than this, most of the time, expressway has the same meaning as a motorway. Now, then the provincial highways, they are the arterial roads of province connecting up with national highways, district headquarters, and important cities within the province. Major roads, important roads within a district serving areas of production and markets, connecting those with each other or with the major highways. When we say other district road, we mean rural areas of production and providing them with the outlet to market centers or other important roads like major district road or provincial highways. The roads between the cities are known as rural roads. It can be connecting villages or group of villages, or the nearest road of higher category like district road, other district road, or major district road. A very important concept uh, of defining highway classification is a functional classification. It is just a guide and it practiced by different countries. Their boundaries are not rigid and some develop supplemental criteria as well. Urban roads can be an arterial road, the sub-arterial, the collector, the local street, the cul-de-sac, pathways, and the driveway. How group population centers and major travel generators, identifying neighboring centers, connect the largest directly, connect the next group to the major centers. What are the consideration is the arterial integrated network, spacing, changes at urban boundaries, the trip length, and the diminishing returns. When we talk about urban boundary, we mean urban clusters. This is based on the census, and it's a secondary criteria. Urban policies are the political boundaries, and then there is an adjusted boundaries. Design consideration of these type of highways are derived from the policy on geometric design of highway 2018. It's a very well-known standard book of reference, and the latest edition is 2018. People say this is green cover because typically its outside cover is green. Some people, in US, they say it as the Bible of geometric design of highway as well. Then there is arterials that provide mobility and restrict access. And then they define this as local. Actually, this green book define arterial as promote mobility and restrict access, while local promote access and limit mobilities. The design features is the speed, the posted speed or design speed, what level of service, A, B, C, D, E. Remember, F is the failure, then the alignment, the width, the clearances, and the grades. This is one way of an urban arterial. It's a mix of, this diagram shows the mix of arterial, subarterial, collector, local, cul-de-sac, pathway, and driveway. So if you look at this diagram, this city one, this connect two cities, so it can be connected directly by the help of the bridges or expressway, or it can be connected from along its perimeter. And you can see this maroon line. This you can see all the major arterials. So arterials are passing along the periphery of the city, as well as it can be connected directly to the city. Again, I repeat, this is a form of an expressway. Then between that, these two cities, there are a lot of villages. And then this blue line, they are all collector street, collecting traffic from arterials to and distributing it to the village, or the traffic and the light green gray is about local streets. So either a local street can be connected to the arterial, but most of the time the traffic, the locals are connected to arterial collector, and then collector distributed to the arterial. There are some roads that we call the cul-de-sac road, in which we call this the cul-de-sac road. This is another example of street plan. As you can see, this along the perimeter, there is an arterial, and then within the city, there is a commercial setup, and all this commercial setup is being connected by the local roads, and between local roads, there are collected roads. So what happens is that, for example, if I am in this shopping area, it's a commercial area, I will take my route, and if I want to go to the arterial, I will take one of this route, then I will connect myself to the collector, and this collector will connect me to the main arterial street. Or it can be vice versa. I will take collector, I will then, from collector, I will take the local road, and then I will go to my desired place. Mostly time, the federal aid means the metal, aid, the finances from the federal government. They are given to the National Highway System, NHA, for developing, for maintaining the principal arteries. And then surface transportation program like arterials, urban collectors, or rural manager connections. People are often confused with the rural roads. Rural roads are those roads that connect out to cities. So any road between that connect two cities is a rural road. It's rural doesn't mean it is in the village, though a, a, a rural road may connect to villages as well. And then, uh, so uh, obviously, they can be rural major collectors. The urban features in our road is we have to know the parking space. It should be lighting. There should be curb and gutter to take care of rainwater. And then there's a sidewalks, walks, and there's the utilities like place for electricity or the gas pipeline or optical fibers, to name few. Or telephone line as well for internet. Optical fibers are for internet connection. You know that. Uh, for designing, there are factors like environmental factors like rain, snow, haze, fog, and then there's a load on the traffic and there's a temperature load as well. On a freeway or a motorway, there is a full control. And when we say partial control, there are medians, there are grade separation, signal timing, and limit driveways and entries. We can control access to my major motorways or an expressway through land use ordinance, geometric design, uh, direct versus and direct access, and single versus multiple access. This is a very classical diagram that connects, that define arterial, collector, and locals. And again, as I have highlighted, that these usually they don't have boundaries, predefined boundaries. For instance, I am at my home and I want to travel to other city. So I will take a local route with a very minimum speed. From the zero speed, gradually I'll come to this point where I'll start having a more width road. And then my speed is getting, and the land beside me is getting smaller, as well as at to the point where there is no land and there is only travel. So there is a no accessibility, and most of the time it is the traveler does not desire to stop uh, here. And there is obviously, as we go, there are less population around, and then the point where there may be little or no population. Similarly, if I am coming from some other place, from the city, I will take, uh, as I go to my home, my land accessibility as gradually I go to travel toward the center or the city center. Uh, I will have to reduce the speed. There will be more friction, and suddenly at the point it will come that I will reach my destination. So on a time scale, you see, if I go up from top to bottom, this is mobility. And from my mobility is increases as going from land to the arterial, local to the arterial. And my accessibility increases as I travel from arterial towards the locals. So again, this box is high mobility, low degree of access. You cannot enter this arterial. And collector, it's a black balance between, the blue and red. It's just balance between mobility and access. And as the land we exchange, there is a lower mobility and higher degree of access. Then there is one more way of defining this thing. This is completely access control. And then we go degrees, uh, decreasing degree as we go up. And there is increased use of access purpose. And then there's unrestricted. Everyone can do. At this point, this is a cul-de-sac, is that you cannot move forward. The road is closed. Cul-de-sac is the road closed. So for this, there is no through traffic. Then this, at this point, this is local. And you can see that the mobility is increasing, right? Movement function is increasing from this point to this point. And that's traffic is increasing, speed is getting higher. There is a minor arterial, then major arterial, then expressway, freeway, motorway. This is access function. Access function is, increasing as we go to the closer road, and it is decreasing as we go towards the mobility. So in arterial, there is no access. There is no vehicles are allowed to stand on it. It's a very little cross traffic. Usually the speed is 80 kilometers per hour. The land width we need is around 60 meters. The spacing is 1.5 kilometer in central business area and 8 kilometers in sparsely developed areas. They are divided road with full or partial parking. The pedestrians are allowed only to walk along at intersection, not at the mid block. Sub-arterials, no standing vehicle, less mobility, spacing 0.5 kilometers, 3.5 kilometers, urban fringes, speed 60 kilometers per hour, and then weight is around 30 to 40 meters. Then the collector streets distribute traffic from local street, provide access to arterial road. They are located in residential, business, and industrial areas. Full access is allowed. Parking is permitted. 50 kilometers per hour speed, and the land width is 20 to 30 meters. The local street it has a design speed of 30 kilometers per hour, land width of 10 to 20 meters. It is a primary access to residence, less volume, origin and termination of trips, unrestricted parking, pedestrian movement, bus stops, and no waiting restrictions. There is a cul-de-sac. It's a dead street without one entry access, recommended in residential areas. What is the ASTO guide that in a locality, in a perfect urban setting? VMT is vehicle mile travel. So 40 to 65% vehicles travels, and 5 to 10% mile is there. The length of the road. Then all arterial 65 to 85, 15 to 25%. Collector 5 to 10%, and the locals 10 to 30%. And then the mileage is around 65 to 80%. In a classic example of US highways, principal arterial is of 9% share in the total road network, minor arterial 10%, collector 10%, and 70% are local. So uh, in any typical setup, uh, the arterials are less while the locals are more. So you can say that around 20% or 30% arterial and collected to local, 70% local. It's a very good way of knowing how to plan your cities. Again, this is the same schematic with a different thing that has been shown. Again, along the perimeter, this is your arterials, and then there are grids, the major grids of the collector, and between them, the smaller grids, are called the local routes. In a rural guide, means there are for 30 to 55% vehicle mile travel, there are usually 2 to 4% arterials uh, miles, are arterials, 45 to 75% vehicles mile travel, and miles are 6 to 12%, collectors 20 to 35, and local 65 to 75. In rural setup, the arterials are around 8%, collectors around 23%, and the rest is local. Uh, the road pattern is also important while planning a city. There can be a regular block pattern, radial pattern, circular pattern, radial or star grid pattern, hexagonal pattern, and minimal travel pattern. So that's all about the highway classification. Uh, Thank you very much for your time. I will inshallah come with next presentation on urban mass transportation.